Welcome back. WWL-TV photographer Brian Lukas has traveled to many parts of the world and to every corner of South Louisiana, capturing video that takes you behind the headlines of the news. And along the way, he has also taken still photographs. During and after Katrina, he shot pictures that captured the impact of Katrina, the flooding that followed, and the torture the devastation imposed on its victims. Brian has put together a video essay along with the voices of many who struggled and suffered and fought their way through. And he's here now to show us this essay and to tell us about it. And Brian, how did this come about? How did you put this together?
I kind of put it together because I was trying to tell a very complex story and the confusion in kind of a simple manner. But I also wanted people to look at the images. So what I did is I took black and white infrared images and hand-tinted one element within the image so the viewer can focus. Basically, the confusion focuses down to the center of that one image.
You keep a journal of many of the stories you cover,
right?
And this is one example, sort of what grew out of a journal, right?
Right. I went ahead and I started originally with the pictures, then I kept the journal. And what I wanted to do was really just to hand it down to my children. Stephen Ambrose was my history professor, and he said something that I thought was very relevant to us. We cover history like he does, or did, but we do it on a daily basis. And this was a massive history project.
All right, well, let's take a look at this massive history project artistically done by Brian Lukas.
What's going through your mind is when you see something of that magnitude, you're going, I sure hope it weakens before it gets there. If it doesn't weaken before it gets there, it gets real easy because there isn't going to be anything left.
The last time I saw him personally was the night we evacuated. We did everything we could to get him to come with us, but he refused. He thought this was just going to be like all the other times. When boats were sent out to come and get him, they couldn't find the house because the water was so high.
Did he have to be rescued? They had to take him off the roof. Oh, thank God Johnny's alive. Oh.
Don't even look like people live there. The whole neighborhood just gone.
Oh, you know, and it was the little things you saw. It's like when you'd see it, I mean, you became numb to the flooded houses, but then you see some kid's toy floating by, and it's just, the tears would well up. I mean, how do you know, it became human. It became human. Bricks can be replaced, and you know, wood can be cut, and all of that. But memories, you know, that's what makes us who we are. And you rip those away, and we're not who we were.
I've seen war pictures that didn't look this torn up. It does. It looks like a bomb just went off and just tore everything up. I mean, I'd hate to see that happen, but it does. I mean, it's I don't know. It's hard to put it into words just how bad everything looks.
This hurricane spared no one. And I don't care who you was, whether you were the richest man in the world, if you were living around New Orleans area, it affected everybody. It didn't say, well, you know, I left the poor people alone and took the rich, or I left the rich and I took the poor. It took everything. It took schools, churches. It didn't leave nothing back. Every business, every little bit, mom and pop business, big chain stores. You know, it didn't spare anybody.
The worst thing I think is that everybody's gone and everybody's scattered everywhere. If it had just been my house, you know, at least I would have still had my friends and my job, and everyone's still here. So I think losing the community is actually harder than losing just your home, because you're losing your whole home, everything.
I just want to get my papers, some papers for my business and some keys for my rental property, and I'm going to get out. Hopefully my kids' baby pictures. That's what I want. Baby pictures. They 30 and 27. I want my baby pictures.
And I know that truly nothing in there is salvageable, but maybe, and I'm still standing here knowing nothing in there, not a picture, is salvageable, but maybe my grandmother's first communion rosary from 1905 that I left, maybe my confirmation rosary that we have passed down for years, maybe there's one thing, and I know this is crazy, but you have to see it for yourself.
And I mean, to drown. My uncle said they screamed and screamed and screamed, and then he knew they died, because there was just no screams anymore.
We may not find all the folks who have disappeared. I'm anticipating some folks are in the marsh. I'm anticipating that they may have washed out when the alluvial flow of the surge came through and pulled back out into the canals. So there may be some people we never find, which is tragic because folks won't get closure.
Well, my mother, she told me, she said, whatever you do, she said, I want you to let people know, if they have any doubt, do not wait for city officials or anyone to go and find your loved one. Go in the inside, go and check and see if your loved one in there, or look through the debris. Go look in the attics. Just take a chance. At least it'll clear your conscience and say you did it. Because my sister been here for 6 months, and just think if my mother would have just gave up and not went into that home, and with all the DNA that we was taking, she would have never been found. We would have never known that my sister was laying in that home, just waiting there. And the way she was laying there with her arms stretched out like she was sleeping, and the surgeons came in and caught her off guard.
How important it is to restore the wetlands of Louisiana. It's our protection, it's our Kevlar jacket against hurricanes, and the less of it there is, and there's a lot less than there used to be, the less protected we are. If we don't restore those marshes, those swamps, those barrier islands south of the city, the next time this happens, believe it or not, it'll be worse.
The next step is going to be, we're going to be the coastline. You know, it doesn't take that many years either. It's eroding real fast, real fast.
We're okay, we're alive, we have a home and I have a job, and I'm so lucky to be here.
And that note, like so many people wrote after Katrina, letting family and friends know they were safe, that was a personal note from your son.
That was from my son. I had not seen him for 5 days. While I was covering the storm with my other colleagues from WWL, I was searching for my son during the storm. I came back to my home after covering the storm around the region, and that note was left on the table. Wow. And it was very, very comforting for me. But Dennis, I must tell you, the courage of the people of New Orleans. Never forget the storm, but never give up. And they are rebuilding, and things are going better.
Beautiful piece of work. Thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate it. And this will be available on our website, WWL-TV.com today.